grade was very interesting. I was so enthused to go and so forth, and had a lot of things to talk about. And first grade, in that time, they were double desks. They were about 5 feet wide, and 2 kids every desk. That way, Martin Folstead lived over on Fisher Road near Herb's place, and he liked to visit, and I liked to visit. We knew each other before and so forth. But here, the teacher says, "Now, shush." The teacher was Martin's uncle and also my uncle. He was married to Martin's aunt, and Teacher Muller was married to Mom's sister. I don't know. I'll get this mixed up. Anyway, the double whammy in there, and so that was a little bit. He was a responsible guy. I pitied him, but he had held it real well. He was experienced so forth, and he had been teaching here at St. Luke's a few years, and then W2 came along, and he was drafted. And we didn't think that was right. It did, but because teachers and ministers to us are...
Was it W1 maybe?
W1, oh yeah.
Yeah.
And he, thank you. Anyway, that way, he was experiencing in the history of the W1, the way things were going and so forth, and he came back here. I think Donald's grandfather, I think, was a minister while intermittent there during that time. So anyway, that's the way the thing went, and we came back. And I had some pictures of him, but I can't even find them right now.
So you two little boys got in trouble?
We sure did. he said, so there were only about 8 of us, I suppose, in first grade. So anyway, he said, okay, Martin, you go and stand in that corner, and Alfred, you stand in that corner. But then the standing and the representing, reprimanding, we didn't realize how serious that was. So we kind of looked at each other and started laughing. The next thing, bingo. That was enough of that nonsense. So he handled it very well. He was, I remember, like, the kids liked to snowball each other, and they wanted, especially the teacher, and so Uncle Marty, I call him, his name was Martin Muller. He was up against these 8th grade boys that are making strong and so forth, and wanted to be a man, so they would swim some pretty good sized snowballs at him, so forth. But he said, "Now, boys, I'll just give you one chance. You line up in a row out here, and I'll go stand by the door of the school." So and no ice ball, just this plain snowball. So they did. They go one. Snowballs all flying all over the place. About half a minute later, that's all. And they stepped the door and closed. That was no fire at him again. So he gave a good run for the money. And that was the way.
That's good.
He was that way. He had another example of how to take things in your stride and so forth. And this was a example of why smoking isn't good for a person. The sad part of it was he liked to smoke, being in the service, and oftentimes it's one of those things you can't kind of get rid of like you want to. Anyhow, he was showing here how important it is not to smoke for you young boys, because I think they're men ready. So he had somebody, one of the kids, I think, found a snake, a little green garter snake about so big out there, and put it in a large glass, clear glass, and then he would cover it, and he said, "Now here's the reason why it is not good for you." So he just showed. So he'd take a couple of puffs of that cigarette and blow it down into that jar, and that snake would wiggle, and it quit.
Mm-hmm.
It was done. And it's actually suffocated the poor thing, and that's the lesson he enjoyed showing him, and that was...
Taught a good science lesson. He taught a good science lesson. All right. Do you have other memories?
Yeah, well, for first grade, well, I think the whole school had double desks at that time. Here's for a person in another veneer, you'd be paired up with somebody else always doing the classes, and they were supposed to help each other, but then not too much noise and so forth. But in first grade, we didn't learn, how to shut up and keep quiet. But we could.
So Mr. Muller was your first teacher?
Mr.
And then who came next?
Muller.
Who came next?
Arndt, A-R-N-D-T. Arndt was a student in a seminary for a minister. And he, the young fellow that hadn't had any experience, it was the first time, and he just, the kids knew it, and believe me, they took advantage of it. And this boy, poor fellow, he left being a minister, and he got to be in a, I don't know, I forget, Wall Street business in New York City. I forget what it was, a stock market or something like that. Maybe.
And then the third teacher you had?
O J Nicol, and he was just right there. He was just a young man he wasn't even married yet. He was a young man out of our colleges, and where did he go?
River Forest.
River Forest, and then from there, he came here, and he got on real nicely. He was.
Do you remember what year you started first grade?
Well, let's see now. I'm just trying to think. I have to have some paper to.
That's all right.
Figure that out. 7 and 5, about 26 or something like that, maybe.
Okay. All right.
Give or take.
We can check that out later. All right. You had Mr. Nicol.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And had him all I was in St. Luke's School, 8 years.
So do you remember anything else that happened? Anything funny? Anything serious?
Well, Uncle Marty, I'll call him, I was a teacher at Muller. I'm very careful. He was always interested in the kids, what they're doing, and so forth. And so he knew that I was very much interested in aviation, and so that was 1927, I think, when Lindbergh crossed the Atlantic, and so about 1928, the U.S. Air Force, this is not many planes were around at that time, and they had biplanes, and I think 48 of them, one for every state, I think, came from New Jersey and flew towards where you guys are out there in California, someplace. They landed out there, but they had to take it in stages. They couldn't fly that far in those days. But maybe 2 or 3 stops to do that. But anyway, we heard that they were going to be flying through. So, teacher O J Nicol, he had me to look out for the planes that were supposed to be coming across here someplace. We didn't know for sure. But sure enough, around about 10 o'clock, would you? It's so long ago, I don't remember the exact hour, but it was still in the morning, and I could hear her humming there, so I went out, and sure enough, about a great belt someplace, there was this fleet of airplanes heading west. So this is May, let's see now, it's about 29 or 30, I suppose, maybe. Give or take a couple of years. Anyway, and then that was, to us, it was quite a historic mark, the fact that they were one of the first times this was done, that they could fly as a group that far, and they'd stop and pick up gasoline on the way then.
Wow, okay, so you were able to see, did all the kids go out then to see?
Yeah, everybody, he told me, I tell him, and then dismissed. So, they didn't fly that fast, so you had a couple of minutes time of observing while they're going and out of sight.
Good. Okay. All right. What did the school look like inside?
Very much the same, except in the center was a wood coal furnace, and had a shield around so somebody get too close and get burnt. all the way around, well, most of the way around except for the door, and he used that for going, and the teacher would go first thing in the morning early to get the place warmed up, and by the time 8 o'clock, 3:30, something like that, we got there. So that was interesting. It was always warm.
Did you drink water at school?
Oh yeah, we had a well drilled. I don't know if Mr. Foley was in he our neighbor down here, where Sedlacks lived now, right on the side of the creek. They had he was a stonemason, I think, one of the side things. He was actually a blacksmith, but stonemason sort of fit in with that, and I read where he had done the stonework for the school, and then carpenters would be, I imagine, from the Balkans, whatever, they helped. And built
So he drilled the well,
I don't know about that. I don't know who did that.
but he did the stone.
The stonework, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But no, and then of course the other congregation, some of the members pitched in. And did everything from carpenter worker.
Mm-hmm. So you had a well. Where was the well?
Right, almost out of on the northeast from the door. That was before that little cupola was built in front. Shut the wind and the weather off. There was just a straight front on it with one door. I think there was an emergency door out front of the building somewhere in case of dire emergency, like a fire, why they could open that up. It was part of the wall. It was cut out nice and neat, and then for sealed, semi-sealed, I would say, until needed for emergency.
Okay. Did you just use the pump, and did you have a did you have a cup? Did you have what did you use to drink?
Well, some kids had foldable drinking cups, and then if you didn't, you could have one. You could hold your hand on the bottom of the neck of where the water comes out. You know, it comes out at 180 degrees, and then if you put your hand on this part, they drilled a hole on top of a 3/8 hole or whatever, and that would be a nice little fountain. And so you wouldn't have to put your mouth on where somebody else did. You could have a fresh drink of water.
So they figured out how to make a fountain.
That was
So how did you get lunch at school?
oh my! Carried your own.
So what did your mom put in your lunch?
Oh my! Sandwich. That's all I know. Oh, one thing, other thing I carried. I have a milk bucket out here, aluminum milk bucket, 2 quarts on the top shelf there. The pastor needed milk for his coffee and cereal and so forth. So in those days there was no home delivery or anything at all. In fact, the stores were few and far between. Anyway, he needed milk, so I would carry a bucket, 2-quart bucket full of milk over, cold at home here. But then we had to buy ice in the summer to keep it cool. But then he would on Saturday, I think it was a little Saturday too. Anyway, he'd give me a dime every week. that was
So you brought milk from here, from home.
Yeah, we had Guernsey cans.
Mm-hmm.
About I don't know how many, 3 of them I think. Let's see, 3 or 4.
So you supplied milk for Pastor Hophius and his family.
No, Pastor Pfeiffer.
Pfeiffer.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bielenberg.
Okay.
Maybe Pfeiffer too, but I remember Bielenberg was the gentleman that would pay me 10 cents a week for delivery.
All right. What did you do for recess?
Oh, play ball. Andy Over was always a great one there. Oh.
Can you explain Andy Over?
You ever hear that? Or you and your buddies would stay on this side, and then somebody else with their buddies would stay on the other side, and they'd toss a ball over and across the school and bounce on this side. Maybe it wouldn't get all the way over and come back to you. So the next guy, he'd have his turn, and he'd bounce or throw it all the way across the other part. Sometimes it missed the roof altogether to come down. You have to catch it out, and they're just like a fly ball.
So what kind of ball was it?
Probably a rubber ball. I don't know.
Rubber.
I don't think it wouldn't be slate because it was too hard. It would crack the slate.
Mm-hmm.
The slate roof, you know.
Yeah.
Stone.
Okay. What? Any other games that you played?
Yeah. What's that Indian game that hockey is cut off? We used to cut our own hockey sticks out in the woods. A stump was cut off here in the new chute to keep the roots are still viable, and they would put a cane or a stick up in here and it'd get bigger until it was big enough. Well, it'd have to be bigger than a cane a little bit. But the bottom of the thing came out on an angle, and that were it was like I always try to find one that had a kind of a hook to it. And when we were playing, we call it shinny. It was an Indian game. It was like.
He's talking about. It would be. Is that an Indian game? Do you know?
Yeah,
I don't know.
yeah, I think it was.
Okay.
And when you play across, you start off the middle, 1, 2, and then the third one you take off. Did any of them have a hook on the end that they grab the thing and
That
rub
might be hockey.
Huh?
That might be hockey.
Could
Well,
be.
hockey is very similar.
What
to
did
hockey.
you? What were you playing with? A ball or a?
Tin can mostly.
A what?
A tin can.
A tin can. Okay.
Yeah, we didn't have any fancy equipment. See, until Post-Gazette, I think it was, a Pittsburgh paper come out one time, and they said, here, boys and girls, if you sell so many subscriptions to the Post-Gazette, that would mean you would get a basketball or things like that. We had, was that real nice? Plus, the boy that was selling it, you get a Scout Axe, it kind of disappeared, ran away. but things like that, where what the kids would like to play with too, that was your pay for selling the paper. Pretty sick.
Okay. Oh, and where were the bathrooms?
Oh, what? Those days, nobody in the neighborhood ever knew what a bathroom was yet. But they were outdoor toilets, and girls had theirs on the west side and the boys on the other side.
Tell us about the bathrooms.
It was all outdoors. In those days, there was no indoor plumbing in any of the congregation members, except maybe somebody that lived in town. I doubt it. I don't think even in Saxonburg yet. So when I was in high school, whenever we got ours, the first one we put in indoor, but they were very necessary item, but were the least priority of getting fixed up and remodeled. So anyway, you know, you've been in some of the state forest parks already and so forth. It's very similar to that, outdoor.
Just a pit toilet.
Yeah, that's about it. Just reading some of my friends up in Alaska have trouble. They have that permafrost, and they really have trouble with.
And there's only one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was only one.
Yeah. How about the horse stalls? Can you tell us about those?
Well, there were a line of sheds running north and south, and the one ended up, if you eyed straight west, it would be about in line with the parsonage down there, and then it ran down to as far as the schoolhouse was concerned, and then the property line at that time, the church only owned down from the schoolhouse about 20 feet approximate, and there was a coal shed down there for the coal, keep the furnace going, and that was the end of the line. That was neighbor's property, which belonged to the Fredericks at that time. And then along that line, heading east, was a set of sheds too. And these were built by the church members, I understand, and they owned all the lumber and so forth, and they had a box in there they could put their oats in, keep the horse happy, or horses, or whatever. They were driving this ferry or buggy where they'd have two of them, and maybe, I don't remember if anybody had coming on a saddle or a single horse, but that's the way they traveled.
How big were they? Did they cover the buggy at all if it rained?
It was approximately, my estimation, now I'd say 10 feet high, something like that. Enough that a buggy would get in underneath it, just to maybe the end of it. But I think they unhitched him and tied the horse up in their manger where they were fed too.
So this is when they came to church. When people came to church, this is what they did.
Yeah, they were the ones that, we didn't have any, our family too close. They were walking people in the hands time. You would want to start your car to go across the street. You would, walk close to ones.
Did you walk to church?
Yeah, and I was trying to think down there, some people came from Jefferson Center and Great Belt area, and they had one, like Howard Fole said, about the farthest I remember him having to walk from, well, he had a bicycle, I think. He was taking confirmation classes at that time, and he would ride his bicycle from that distance. I don't know what he did on a rainy day. I suppose he had to get some help.
So what did you do in the winter?
Well, I'm just trying to think now. We had a lot of fun playing in the snow. There was the road as it is now was practically the same thing, but there was a bank on the parsonage side. It was probably 6 or 8 feet high, and there was a sidewalk. Everybody had a sidewalk along their place at that time. It went all the way over to the church, or to the cemetery, from the church to the cemetery, and they had stones. In fact, a couple of my stones here probably from there. Not only so thick, but they were big enough to make a nice stepping walk. And that's what they'd have for the cemetery. They'd have the service probably in church, and they'd walk over to the cemetery from there.
Was that kind of a normal thing to visit the cemetery often?
I don't remember now. I know in those days everybody would take care of their own lot. They had sometimes they have to use sickle or something like that. Pretty ruthless, or a hand mower, I imagine was used. And I was pretty young yet. I didn't pay attention too much to that.
Did you visit the cemetery? Is what I'm talking about. Was it a family thing to go visit the cemetery and talk about your ancestors? Did you do that?
Yeah, I think like Mom always would take flowers over Memorial Day, and other people no doubt did that too. That they would decorate the graves and make them presentable, and keep the weeds down or the trees down.
Now, which church do you remember? Do you remember the second church, the wooden one?
Yeah.
What can you remember about that?
I remember Christmas time, the Christmas service. I had to walk across the vent of the thing. The hot air come off the only register was about 4 feet square, and you walk across that in a hurry because there was down either. You see the first red hot.
Okay. Do you remember? Did you have any particular part in the Christmas service? Do you remember anything about that?
All the children would have their Bible verses that they learned and fit into the Christmas story. You remember?
What did the front of the church look like? Do you remember that?
There was this very small vestibule, I think. I remember seeing the steeple come down from here. It was pointed metal over that part, and sort of I don't think there's any decoration on top mountain.
Ask him if he knows
Anyway,
how
what,
many.
they had a rope on it and
it
pulled
would
it down, and
seat.
it was soft ground, so it stuck in the ground, and there it was, looking like upside down funnel.
Mm-hmm.
Sitting there.
So how many people do you think were in that, were able to sit in that church? Do you know how many?
Well, it was, my guess, as I recall, it was no bigger than the school. And you get 50 children in there, and benches, because with chairs, or the benches they had at that time were some of the ones they used in the newer church.
Mm-hmm.
And they were, I don't remember how, well, they were, it'd have to be approximate the same size, sideways, not lengthwise, to fit as they do for today.
Okay. What was Christmas like, other than you all had to say something? Do you remember? Did you have a tree? Did you have more than one tree? What were decorations like?
You remember some of the benches we had in the church benches we had in the new church, the present church was about room for 4 or 5 people to sit in. Those were all the way up underneath the pulpit, almost at right angles to the congregation. And I remember, and Alexander Lang had a bucket of water sitting here with a handle, a long handle and a cup like whatever. He'd get in there and one of them on fire. But
Because he had candles, right?
Yes, real live candles with fire on.
That light on up there.
That's fine. That's fine. Yeah, we need it on. Yeah, we need it, Lola.
Okay.
Okay. What was the end of school like?
Oh boy, I had a party, a Christmas, Memorial Day pool party. Right.
What was it like?
Oh, had games. Everybody had to be prepared for running and all the other. And then Mr. Nicol had a what do you call it, a maypole.
Maple.
Had ribbons down on the pole and a curtain at the top, and then you walk around.
So you had to learn to do that.
Yeah, I had a
That's always so pretty.
intertwined each one,
Intertwined.
older than they, huh?
Did you have chores
Oh yeah.
at school?
Yeah. Oh, in school now. Oh yeah, we had everybody had to take turns sweeping the floor and washing the blackboard too, wasn't it?
Yeah,
That's what I thought. That kept it carried out.
about in the winter.
Did you have to put any coal in?
I don't remember that.
You didn't
Well,
do-
I imagine we had to carry coal for the
What
teacher.
school was this?
St. Luke.
St. Luke's.
Arnold Newbert, I just listened to his tape, and he said that he was a janitor for a while, and he had to put some of the coal in.
Yeah.
They hired him. He said $125 a year.
Well, that's pretty good then.
Now, can you tell us, were you part of that raising the bell? When they took the platform up and all you kids were on?
Oh, that up on the roof. Yeah, there was a picture taken for how many? Around 50 kids up there. And there was a parapet that actually it's up maybe
Do you think we
close
need
to 3
that
foot
light on
high,
up there?
and so it wasn't too dangerous, and they could all.
They could all get in there.
Corner there.
Can you remember any funny things that happened during school?
Yeah. Oh, it always kids. I just felt sorry for my real good friend. We were playing in sheds, and the horse sheds are pretty rough. So splinters and things like that, and there was some nails sticking out. And poor guy, somehow or other, he got his pants caught out of a nail. So he had a pail about an inch wide ripped out of his pants and hanging still one end was tight. So that would be the only thing I can think of right offhand. Would be.
Did Mrs. Hophius fix that for him?
I don't remember who fixed him.
That's where everybody went.
They went down, yeah. Tell us about the black hole.
Oh my! This was in the old wooden church that was there before the present building is, and at the north end of it there was a part that wasn't excavated. It was the original earth, but it was closed off with a door, and there's no lighting or anything in there, so no doors, windows, or anything. And if somebody didn't behave, I don't recall too much about it. This is hearsay, but they were put in there for a certain length of time to settle down and decide to do what they're supposed to do.
So that was hearsay.
That was hearsay. But,
Yeah,
but
okay.
I knew the door was there.
Well, there was also a hole under the school.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
That's where we stored
the
some
wood.
Wood for the place, keep it
Okay.
dry.
There was a hole under the
Yeah,
school.
it's a door about so high, and about that wide, and they have.
Is that still there?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's.
Okay.
But it went. See, the whole building. There's a little bit of a slope to the earth there, and the whole building was setting the back side there about 3 foot high, hardly 4, and then it dropped down almost 0 to the north end. So it was.
The first hour of school, what did you have?
Always have devotions and Bible study and your memory verses, Bible verses. I think,
And you remember the first one you had?
Oh no, I can't remember. My memory is that good.
3 words. Yeah, they have it written here. God is.
Love.
That was your first grade. And what else did you have to learn beside Bible verses?
I learned to read and write. You get your alphabet and
But in the first part of this, in the first part of your day, did you have to learn hymns?
Oh yeah, we had hymns. We'd sing, and sometimes memorize some of the verses too.
And what happened when there was a funeral?
The whole school would go up for and sit in one part of the church service there.
Yeah.
For one of the hymns I think we always have.
Did you sing "Asleep in Jesus" maybe?
Probably something like that.
Okay. And why did you have to go to church?
Give a paddle.
Was Mr. Nicol?
Oh, that's right. He did insist that he did.
He did the.
Played.
He played the.
Oh, he played the organ.
For the services.
The services. That's right.
Tell me about the parking lot.
Well, it was made of cinders in those days because limestone mine wasn't operating like they are now, and the cinders, you could play ball in there, and baseball, whatever, where you want to fall on that, and you get a bloody knee, and just take home a couple of cinders too.
And who owned the property behind the church?
That was Louise Folstead, married to Oscar Folstead's, her home, which was her 2 single sisters lived there, right? 2 of them, I think, and they lived there, and they said, "Go ahead and use it," and we'd make good use of it. And then finally we bought the whole property.
What was your favorite classes that you liked at school?
Oh, I was like history and geography.
Why?
History and geography.
Why?
Why? Oh, well, I don't know. History was always interesting. It's people that had made a difference in the life of the people living here. It was good that way. And it was.
And to this day, you like geography?
Oh yeah. History too.
And
And mathematics was a tough one. I was too good at that.
about Mr. Nicol teaching health classes.
Oh, did you have health classes with Mr. Nicol?
Boy.
Told you what
I think there were health. It seemed to me there was something there. I mean, your cleanliness, your hygiene was that you brought up something.
What did Mr. Nicol do in the afternoons that you liked so well?
Oh, Friday after see, the earlier, younger children were left off class about 3 o'clock, and then the last hour he would read some of the historical articles, maybe even a local history, something like that. He was very interesting. He was a real good, reader, and that was something that we like to hear somebody else tell what's going on.
So it was a time of. Did he read stories to you?
Yeah.
All right, Alfred, tell us how Mr. Nicol would conduct school.
Well, first of all, I mean, the whispering and the loud talking even wasn't allowed, and so he had to keep everybody quiet. While like first grade, well, okay, you go recite your memory verse for the day or something like that, and the rest of it be quiet and study. You put them the other ones to work. There are some books that they were supposed to read, a review or something like that.
So were you separated by grades? Were you?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, your grades were all in close to the. And, I know I was in the first row in the first grade.
And as you got older, you moved back?
8th grade was always back.
Mm-hmm. When you had class, were you, he just moved from one place to the other?
Oh, yeah, you have to. Each year, as a new classroom started, they would be assigned a different.
And what did he do when he had first grade? Did he go and stand by them, or how did he do that?
Yeah, he would be up with them, and in the same way with 8th grade, in their church. Of course, he'd walk around through the school if it was necessary to keep somebody else. and
tell us what the front of the school looked like.
Well, you've seen pictures there. The 2 big windows where they would all slide up. They could, in hot weather, they could open up for ventilation. I don't remember any screens, but they did have windows that slid up and down and let some air through. And then after sometime when I was going there, they came out with the that little what do you call it? Yeah, it's about 8 feet square with a door on it, and the side to the school was no different. It was just attached to the school and built out like 8 feet each way, plus one door that go in through that, and that would shut the window off of the rest of the school, because you open up the door in the classroom without something like that, why the whole draft of cold air would go all through the school, and in this way it would shut down the
so they had a little entry.
Yeah.
the entry was
Yeah, and there was a platform.
Yeah.
There was a platform in the front.
And the cupboard
What?
over on
Mm-hmm. Where Mr. Nicol's desk was.
Oh yeah, that's right. There was an 8-inch step to the platform, and that was for the organ. We had a pump organ, and the teacher's desk was in the middle, and
had a closet over on the other side.
clock was on the wall. Is that what you meant?
What?
Did you say the clock was?
No, they had a closet on the other side.
Oh, the closet for books, yeah. And then blackboard. That's what. Do you remember the blackboard? That was made of boards, smooth boards from one side of the school all the way to the other.
Yeah.
And then.
And what? I thought it was slate.
And the slate
He's
were
talking about the outside.
two on each side.
Okay.
Slate
Mm-hmm.
for the kids to use and teach, of course.
Mm-hmm. So you had to go to the blackboard and write things?
I think so. I don't remember. I wasn't. We did, didn't we?
Okay.